a couple of weeks ago on the last Tangent Tavern, Cal, you kind of mentioned a couple of things about...
I put my foot in it.
You mentioned a couple of things about old school RuneScape, and I tried my best, my professional best, to not necessarily backpedal, but to kind
damage control.
To cover. Not because I know anything about this, because here's the truth. I legitimately do not know who Callum is talking to.
No, he doesn't.
Within any video game company. JAGEX specifically in this case. And the reason I don't know is because I don't want to know. I want to have something called plausible deniability. Okay? I literally don't want to know. If it's Cal's business, he sorts all that out. So when he started saying things, I was thinking, hoo-hoo, JAGEX are firing up the lawyers at this one. So let's damage control. But the crazy thing is, that clip of you saying that old school RuneScape are going to do something, mad, it hit Reddit, it hit Twitter, it hit YouTube. It went wild, didn't it?
But do you know what this proves? This proves that a 2-hour live stream being condensed down into a 20-second clip loses so much context.
Yeah.
Because I had to laugh, because there was a lot of RuneScape YouTubers that were putting out videos on this.
Yeah.
And they'd edited it to, fading in red background, Callum zooming in as he says, everyone should be worried. And it's just like, you've missed the entire other 2 hours of this live stream. But, yeah.
But... After you said everyone would be worried, and after you said everyone should be worried, and after you said all this and gave this all this apocalyptic prophecy, what has happened?
Exactly what I was told was going to happen. This is the scary bit. Word for word on that post, on the RuneScape 3 news post, word for word what I was told. And this is the weird thing, because I put this on Twitter saying, knew this was going to happen. And everyone's just like, But I don't get it. This isn't bad. And I'm like, right, yeah. In the context that we've now been fed it after it leaked, yes, it's not bad.
Now, what people need to understand is that RuneScape 3 and RuneScape Old School are different games, and even their implementation of this new system, or this new experience, is different. So let's go with the easier one to explain first, which I think is Old School RuneScape, because there's far less stuff going on with that.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Cal. I'll try and summarize this as best I can. Jump in as soon as I make a mistake, because you have been on this, man. You put a video out a couple of minutes ago, didn't you?
Yes, there's a video out right now. So if anyone wants the full story on that after the podcast, go watch that.
Okay, so
that's my shameless plug. Go on.
So you've got RuneScape Old School and RuneScape 3. But you've also, both of these are controlled by JAGEX. You can log into both of these games with the same email address, and it gives you a character on Old School and a character on RuneScape 3, but these characters do not interact. They are effectively different games. Consider it...
Correct.
It's not a JAGEX account as such, but consider it one.
Think of it like Battle.net. You Heroes of the Storm, wow. Same credentials, different things, yeah.
Brilliant way to explain it. So we've got these Old School RuneScape and RuneScape 3. Different characters. But now, they're going to bring out what they're going to call... Oh, is it Old School RuneScape Fresh Start?
Fresh Start Worlds.
Fresh Start World. So what a Fresh Start World is this. Brand new Grand Exchange, nothing on it at all. Everyone has to start a brand new character. Now, normally these things are quite fun because everyone goes back to being level 1 and there's a lot of buzz and energy around the early game experience. But you cannot log on to a Fresh Start World using a current email address or character. You need a new email address to sign up for a Fresh Start World, don't you?
Yeah, you do. This is where it gets kind of evil, because it's actually easier to use an associated account than it would be to make them make a new one, then link it back to the original one to be able to transfer your rewards.
Yeah.
They've jumped through hurdles, not because they had to, but because it makes them money.
But the reason that they've made you make a new account is also because of what happens when these Fresh Start servers end, because they are not time-locked progression servers that last forever. There is a time limit. I believe it is, I want to say 6 months for Old School?
4 months for RS3.
Okay.
And I believe it's the same time frame.
Gotcha.
It's the same time frame, but the start and finish dates are staggered.
Okay, gotcha. So it's 4 months. So this Fresh Start World will exist for 4 months. All the free player stuff is there, all the member stuff is there, but if you want to be a member on a free start world, because you have to start with a new email address and a new account, you will need to buy a new membership for that character.
It gets worse, because from their wording, use of Fresh Worlds require a subscription.
Oh, because they said that Fresh Worlds contain free and members content, and I read into that as you can be a free player on a Fresh World. But
I did initially as well.
But are you saying that in order to access a Fresh World server, you have to be a member? Let's look into this.
Look at their little asterisks at the bottom, and I'm trying to remember the exact wording off the top of my head, but it basically says to use Fresh Start Worlds requires a new account and a new membership.
Right, so I think...
Either that's really badly misworded on their part,
right,
or that is how it's intended to be.
I'm hoping that what it is the Fresh Start Worlds, the free-to-play aspects are just free-to-play, and the members aspects are members as it is. So this is just old school, remember. We'll get onto RuneScape 3 in a second. This is just the way old school are doing it. There's no experience boost in the old school Fresh Worlds. There's no extra gain. There's no extra items.
Item
there's no
drops.
Nothing. No. It's literally exactly the same as
carbon copy.
Yeah. But after the 4 months, you can choose if you want your Fresh World account to be transferred over to the main old school game.
No, you are forcibly transferred after the 4 months.
Oh, so the whole thing just ends.
It shuts down.
Right, so the character that you level up is transferred over across. And this means
you can do it earlier, though.
So does that mean that all of the items and all of the gold earned on these Fresh Start servers will then be thrown into the main game?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sure the economy can handle it, but that is going to be a hell of a wave of items and money. I mean, imagine that you get, 10,000 people doing these Fresh Start servers, and on the final day, all 10,000 take all of their items, all of their gold, over to the main and just throw it onto the Grand Exchange. That is a huge influx of items and gold on one day.
See, I don't think that's even the real problem there, because I don't think it's going to be a large influx. I don't think they're going to be popular enough to cause such an influx. What I think the issue is going to be is player expectations. Now, separate economies on the, the fresh player worlds and the new ones, and the official ones. The official ones are botted to hell.
Yeah.
Any item that you could possibly want is worth, I don't know, a dog's left bollock. There's no value to it. Imagine being a player that has played the full 4 months as a new player on the Fresh Start Worlds. You've been, you've got your Slayer up high enough to get Abyssal Whips, and you're selling them for 6.5 mil each or 10 mil each, and you're having a good time. You've got all these farming methods that you've picked up yourself, and then you get thrown into the official game, and it's like, I'll give you 12k for your Abyssal Whip.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I'm sorry, what?
People are saying, what's the bad thing about this? Now, here's the thing. I actually don't think that the old school implementation of this is anywhere near as bad as the RuneScape 3.
No,
because
it's absolutely not.
The old school, the way that they're looking at this, remember, this is the good part, guys, right now. So old school, I think, is doing this in a relatively simple way. Yes, you're making people sign up with new emails, and yes, you're making them buy membership again, but you're not actually affecting them that much. Beyond that, it pretty much is just a, hey, who wants to go back and relive RuneScape from the start kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a rose-tinted re-exploration.
So let's now look at the way RuneScape 3 is doing it, because there are some serious differences.
Yes, their implementation of this is... It's funny, because the person who told me word for word what this was also told me what it basically was meant to be. And in their words, it's essentially a battle pass, think Diablo Immortal prestige system. And when this was announced, I was like, I don't see it. And then
Then you looked.
I looked past the marketing bullshit, and I was like, right. So I get it now.
Let me try and summarise why it's a bit worse in RuneScape 3. So the RuneScape 3 Fresh Start servers will be a little bit different. They will have massively increased experience gain. They have already confirmed that skills below around level 70 will, I think, have 4 times increased experience
and above will be 3 times.
Yep.
But still, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so you're leveling a hell of a lot faster.
Yeah.
For the first 8 weeks of the RuneScape 3 Fresh Start servers, you will be able to buy bonds and you will be able to buy membership, but the microtransaction store will be turned off for the first 8 weeks.
I can't believe that this was actually put in the announcement for it, and it's been removed, by the way.
What?
They removed that line has been removed.
So it might not be turned off. Okay.
It either means it's permanently off now, which I massively assume it won't be.
No.
Or it's permanently on, which seems very likely.
Any of those choices will be bad, but
they're all bad choices.
Going off the original of saying that the 8 weeks will be off and then it will turn on again, RuneScape 3 is a little bit different in its microtransaction store. It's Treasure Hunter, where you can buy keys and open boxes. You can just get experience. You can get gold. Yep. You can get items. You can get a load of stuff.
Straight multipliers on top of the multipliers that they're now going to be adding in. You can get double XP for the next 200k XP.
And the RuneScape 3 Fresh Start servers will have a load of new high scores. So you know that some whale is going to drop as much money as they need to in order to just blitz all the way to the top of these Fresh Start servers. That's what's going to happen. Because in RuneScape Old School, all you take over from the Fresh Start servers to the main world is whatever you earned. Your gold, your items. There's nothing extra.
And you earned it at the same pacing as well. So that's fine. I don't see any reason anyone would have an issue with that, except for the fact that it's fracturing an already fractured community,
but with
and giving no benefit.
But with RuneScape 3 Fresh Start servers, there are massive benefits to be gained from advancing on the Fresh Start servers and then transferring back over. There are exclusive cosmetic overrides achieved by gaining certain levels, hitting certain amount of rune coins and rune points in the game, doing certain quests, killing certain bosses. There are pet overrides. There are headwear. The one of them's tradable.
Oh yeah, but the pet is the sticking point for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you've really thought of the implementation of this.
Okay.
So there is a 4-month period and only 4-month period, right? To get the pet reskin, you need to earn the pet of that type in the league, we'll call it, in the Fresh Start server. So let's say in the main game, I've got the archaeology pet, right? But I want the archaeology pet with the halo on. I've got to earn the archaeology pet in the Fresh Start server that's only going to be up 4 months.
Oh, Jesus.
You are paying to have a chance to get the thing that you want. Now, what's that going to lead people to do?
Oh, just no life it and just pay loads of money for it.
Multiple accounts.
Oh, yeah.
Is what
Good point. Yeah, because if you're signing up with a new account, you then just have to choose who... That's weird, because you're going to have to link it from email to email, aren't you? And there's no real internal way of doing that without them checking emails, but I'm sure they'll find a way to do it. But what shocked me was, in the RuneScape 3 Fresh Start servers, you can earn, if you achieve enough, you can earn a halo, a little cool halo that looks like the old Disc of Returning, which is where cheaters used to get sent when RuneScape Classic was a thing. The Disc of Returning is still a discontinued item.
Yeah.
But they've called it the Halo of Returning, and it looks like the same colour and the same kind of style. That's tradable. And that's only earnable in this mode, which means what you're effectively doing is creating a brand new rare item.
Yeah, and someone's just commented in my chat and nailed it. We spoke about this.
Yeah.
Multiple accounts, well, that's not going to skew quarterly player stats.
This is one thing that I've looked at. What time of the year is it, guys? It's coming in. Yeah, it's the third quarter. It's coming into the fourth quarter, which means that the business are going to be saying, "Hey, look at all the players we've got. Look at the massive rush. Rush we've had at Christmas." This is why companies hold back a lot of their big pushes until just before the fourth quarter, because it's a business decision.
It's really worrying as well, because, so like I was saying, the way it's been announced through a random blog post and not like a news post on Old School, it's fine. But when I was given this information, this is what I was told. I was basically read out word for word what that RuneScape 3 post said.
Yep.
And I said, and they said to me, it's going to be, they're going to test the water in RuneScape 3 with this first, and then it's coming to Old School if they can like squeeze it in, squeeze it past the red tape. And the reason for this is, do you remember the sponsors that they were trying to get past through the RuneScape poll?
Oh yeah, all of the stuff they would have, like items
Mountain
in game.
Dew, teleports and house kits.
I mean, there's
and all
Facebook.
that.
Facebook is in RuneScape 3. You can get an actual book that sits on your face with the letters RS, and you got it from linking your Facebook account to RuneScape. Yeah.
But this is the thing. They have said categorically there will be no microtransactions in Old School.
Yeah.
But they're trying to get sponsored deals in, and they're trying to get more money out of the player base, that's okay. But they need to be honest about the way they're doing it. And they're now having to try and do it in ways like this to get it past the player poll so that it doesn't look like MTX. But it is.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Here's one of the things that I find difficult, and I was talking to a couple of people about this recently. Sometimes when I play an MMORPG, and RuneScape 3 is a real good example of this, I play and have fun, and I enjoy myself, and then I realise that there are more efficient methods of doing stuff. And people say to me, if you're not doing XYZ, you're missing out. And I think to myself, oh, you know what, I am missing out. I should go and get all this experience. I should get these rare items. I should get this cash. And then I realise that I'm not necessarily playing for fun anymore. I'm now playing for efficiency. Look at what this is going to do for people who want all the cosmetics. And remember, if the experience boost is 4 times faster and then 3 times faster, and then your character gets transferred back to the main game, if you want to max a character on RuneScape 3, this is literally the best thing you could possibly do. Just grind this for 4 months.
And it gets worse, and this is why there's going to be multiple accounts per player trying to do this event. You need to get 99 in a skill to get the inverted colour theme skill capes, and they look awesome, right? Like, I look at those and I go, yeah, they're cool. Yeah. I'd want them. But you need to do that for every skill that you have 99 in the main game for. But you can even get these capes and transfer them to your account if you don't have 99 in that skill. You just obviously can't wear it until then.
So you play the Fresh Start world and get, say, 99 attack. And on the Fresh Start world, you get a cool inverted cape where the colours are switched around. Yeah. And you can send that inverted cape item to your main on RuneScape 3. Now, they can't wear it until they've got 99 attack, but it's there waiting for them ready. This means if you want all inverted skill capes, you have to get 99 or maybe even 120 in every single skill in 4 months.
Yeah, and that's not feasible for one account. So what you'd do is you'd make 3 accounts. You'd have 1 woodcutting, 1 fishing, 1 mining, and, you know, doing low intensity stuff on 2 while you high intensity on 1. Yeah. And you'll switch between them and try and get as many 99s as you can to shift them all over.
Now,
but then you're going to be short. So what do? Well, I could buy the lamps and the microtransaction things to, you know, to 2x the already 4x XP, and then I know I'll get it. It's a big FOMO thing to try and pressure people into spending more money for a game that they already pay to play.
Now, people are saying, oh, it's for the players. It's for the players. I don't necessarily believe it is. I believe that if you wanted to make this experience for the players, you could quite easily do it on a separate world using the same email address, requiring it, tying it to the same membership.
Old school leagues.
Yeah. There's ways to do... If they really wanted to do this for the players, there's ways they can do it. I believe that right now what this is for gaining more email addresses, and for gaining more subscriptions. That's ultimately it. No matter what the player gets at the end of the day, what the company sees is increase in email and increase in subscriptions. Yeah. I mean, Darkscape was a thing for a while. I find it real strange that they got rid of Darkscape. That was quite fun. But many months ago, probably a couple of years ago now, a game I actually enjoyed called Runes of Magic. It's terrible, don't play it. But I enjoyed it personally. I had a good time, but I wouldn't recommend you go and spend your time on it because I don't think it's worth it anymore. It's like World of Warcraft, but from a Wish. And Runes of Magic did a new fresh server thing, and it's a very, very pay-to-win game. But they had, hey, new fresh servers, guys, doubled experience, double this, triple that, whatsoever, and the first person to get any world first of killing a boss or finishing a dungeon gets a really cool, unique item that they can then transfer back over to the main one. So all you ended up with was a load of whales competing against each other. They're like, hey, first person to complete endgame dungeon gets super cool sword. Get it, get one of them in the game, send it back over. And the only way you got the sword was by throwing money at the game. What I think they are doing is they are working out what do people want in the main game, and then how can we give them a separate game where they can achieve that. But in order to do it, for the privilege, they have to pay more.
I think this is what it doesn't confuse me. It annoys me about the RuneScape 3 implementation of this. Yeah. You pay to have access to everything earnable through that account, right? If I pay to play RuneScape 3, I expect to be able to do everything in RuneScape 3 and earn and obtain everything for that character through that subscription. But what they've essentially done is now forced people to spend extra money and reinvest all the time that they'd already put into their character into a new one to get the same thing that they could have just got through other means.
Someone in the chat just said, are there any MMOs that have a leaderboard simply for money spent? I believe that's probably Tower of Fantasy or Genshin Impact. That's
yeah.
I mean, Diablo Immortal. That's what that would be. There are many MMOs that have leaderboards for players spent, but you don't see that specifically. You see it by whoever wins the game.
You see the convoluted end product of it, yeah.
Yeah, you see the. I mean, that guy that spent 100k on Diablo Immortal and won. Well done to him. Well done for
Do you know, I actually reached out to him for an interview because I wanted to give him a fair chance. I know a lot of people ragging on him, but I wanted to give him a fair chance to actually talk about this and see why he doesn't see it as a problem.
Okay.
I never got the interview.
No.
But understandable, I guess.
I've never had 100k to throw around on something, but if I did, I probably wouldn't spend it on a video game. If you have it and it's your own cash, totally fine. Totally fine. I mean, I'd spend it on Warhammer and Magic the Gathering cards. That's my kind of problem there. But you spend your cash on whatever you want to spend your cash on. So this is another argument that I want to kind of break down. RuneScape 3 has used the argument that these new start worlds are amazing for new players to get into. And you know what? From the RuneScape 3 side, I agree. Because of the 3 times experience and 4 times experience. If you're a brand new player, you never played it before, and you want to get to the end game bloody quickly, that's actually a feasible way of doing it. But the old school RuneScape fresh starts do not have increased experience. The only thing they have that's different is no Grand Exchange filled up. The Grand Exchange is there, but there's nothing on it. And new high scores, new leaderboards. And they've been saying on social media, this is perfect for new players to jump in. And I thought, you know what? No, it's not, because the actual new player experience will be worse. The new players tend not to care about the high scores and the leaderboards. All the new players will be entering is a game that has nothing on the Grand Exchange. As a new player, your experience in fresh start servers and just regular old school RuneScape as it is won't actually be that much different.
No, and there's something that people are forgetting. Because people JAGEX are saying now's a good time to bring your friends into the game. Imagine, Josh, you don't play RuneScape.
Okay.
And I bring you into old school, and I'm like, come play old school.
Okay.
Why are you going to play on the fresh servers? Because you can't play with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Your friend who has brought you into the game.
And you can't.
And I'm not going to go and make a new. I'm not going to go make a new character just to play with you for 4 months when you could just not play on that server.
Yeah, and you can't do.
You don't gain anything.
You can't do Iron Man on the new servers either. Someone's just said, what about Path of Exile Seasons? I think the difference is that Path of Exile Seasons is designed in this periodic way. It's designed to be 4 months worth of rush, and then another 4 months worth of rush, and then another 4 months worth of rush. It's meant to be an intense moment of let's get to the top and then start again. Let's get to the top and start again. That's the process that the players have liked. 3 months on Path of Exile. RuneScape has always been a long-term grind. You have one character forever that you take it all the way through. It has been it's been a long-term thing. Whereas Path of Exile, as fun as it is more of a short-term, quick boost thing. What if these leagues end up turning RuneScape into that? I mean, imagine if this does end up turning RuneScape into that, and you end up having 3 or 4 months worth of these fresh start servers, and then it gets transferred across to the main game, if you will. It's, like I said earlier, it's fragmenting an already very fragmented player base.